We neither face east or west, we face forward. These are the words of Osajifo Dr. KWAME NKRUMAH. Let me give you the history behind this particular quote. Osajifo made this particular statement during the Cold War. During the Cold War, NATO, led by America, the Soviet Union, led by Russia, there was a lot of countries and smaller countries to pick side. You either join the East or you join the West. And that was when Nkrumah said, we Africa, we neither face East or West, we face forward. So in other words, Africa is not ready to be a satellite country of another nation. We want to be independent from the West and East. Up to date, what still baffles my mind is how Osajifo was able to use both the Americans and the Russians. I'm so surprised. Others saw the Cold War as a problem, but Nkrumah also saw it as a blessing in disguise. Osajifo was able to manipulate these two superpowers to the point that they were fighting over contracts. Can you believe that? Clear example is the Akosombo Dam. Americans constructed Akosombo Dam not because they wanted to construct the dam, but the game Nkrumah was playing. You either construct or I'll give the contract to your enemies. So the Russians also wanted to build a dam. Russia was building a relationship with Africa. They were trying to actually send a message across that we are different from the Americans. We want to help you in terms of security, in terms of education, in terms of infrastructure. And America wouldn't let that happen because Russia was gaining more influence. So if they allowed them to build a dam, then that means Russia was going to have a very strong foothold in Africa. Both India, China, and Africa were all part of the non-aligned movement during the Cold War. Look at where India is, look at where China is, and look at where Africa is. And Nkrumah remains one of the most underrated African politicians. I think the man is not celebrated enough. And Nkrumah was playing the same game that China was playing. Today, look at where China is and look at where we are. When Nkrumah declared Ghana as one-party state, they started calling him all kind of names. They said he was a dictator, he's evil, blah, 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 blah. But China used the same strategy. And Nkrumah wanted to make the CPP as a national political party. And that is exactly what China did. China decided to make the Communist Party a national political party. So that we wouldn't bother ourselves changing leaders every 4 years. China used the same system. Look at where they are. And Nkrumah was far ahead of his generation. The system we rejected, the Chinese used the same system. And today, China is the most successful country in the history of this world. Let me repeat this again. The very system we rejected, China took the same system. And today, China is the greatest country on earth. Why did I narrate all this history? It's because today, some African leaders are lazy. They don't want to learn. This is one good thing about a multipolar world. All the superpowers are peddling for influence. And we can use them to our advantage instead of complaining that Russia and Ukraine is fighting. How is that your fucking problem? There's no time better than now after the collapse of the USSR. The world became a unipolar world, and today we are back to a multipolar world. So there is no better time than now. This is the time for Africa to rise. Nkrumah did nothing wrong. He did everything right. Yes. Both KWAME Nkrumah and China used the same system. Though we were all part of the non-aligned movement, but we were more closer to the Russians, right? We were more aligned to the Russians. So how did China succeed and why did we fail? The same system. I think the only difference is we didn't understand Nkrumah, the direction that Nkrumah was going, whilst the Chinese understood everything. And that is why today they are where they are, and today look at where we are. I don't think China was better than Africa during the Cold War. No. Well, interesting time ahead. Don't forget to hit on the like button. Shalom. See you guys in the next episode.